If this was 2010 YouTube, I would be playing the Imperial March right about now whilst slowly zooming in on a picture of Elon Musk. But tragically, it is the current year as evidenced by, well, the response to my latest video. Jon Stewart didn't like that one, as it turns out. Come on now, John, we're both YouTubers, and hey, I'm just doing what you do. I take stuff that looks like news media reporting and I make fun of it. You really should admit that this is a beautiful, circular, symbiotic relationship, so how about you just don't abuse the copyright strike system? I do recall you were quite a critic of corporate power abuse back in the day, but things change, I do suppose, and on that point of things changing, my god, Twitter will appoint Elon Musk to its board of directors. Now there's an interesting possibility right there, and alright, so to lay out a little bit of the background lore here, a while ago, Elon put out a tweet in a poll form basically asking, right, do you think that Twitter is living up to its commitment to free speech? Do you think it's a fair and open platform, etc.? Do you think they could do better? And do you think there needs to be competition in the market? Do you think there needs to be another Twitter, basically? And the overwhelming majority of people said no, Twitter is not living up to its responsibility to protect free speech, and they probably should be a competitor. There were also some people pointing out that like there are competitors, but here's the problem. I saw in particular the Gab one going like, there already is a competitor, it's called Gab, and then someone went like, yeah, but you can't even have porn on your site, you're not for free speech. And they were basically like, yeah, but, you know, Christian values and all that, which in this day and age I do partially respect, but at the same time, we need, well, what we actually do need is a completely open platform. I don't care if people want to browse porn on Twitter, it doesn't bother me one iota. And again, it is Twitter. It is a garbage heap, so why the hell not? And Elon Musk, I think the key takeaway here is, Elon could have made another Twitter competitor, like many others that have been created, but what would he achieve by doing this? He would sink millions, probably billions of dollars into making all of the infrastructure required to get it going. Then he'd have to spend billions of dollars more marketing it. He'd have to build it, he'd have to scale it, have to construct it all from the ground, and he'd have to build up the user base, which he would probably have to use already established social media to do. It would take a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of time, and the result, unsure at best. The problem with the modern day internet is that it very much so kind of is a feedback loop. When something grows to a certain size, it's very difficult to move away from it, and it is a hell of a lot harder to try and compete with it without making some major commitments and moves to do so. But if you've already got money, like Elon Musk does, to the point that you're running your own space program, the quickest, easiest, and most efficient way to compete with Twitter is to buy Twitter. It's rather logical when you come to think of it. If Elon Musk really wants to change Twitter, really wants to, you know, begin wading into this current day events and want to make it a proper free speech platform, and Elon Musk does strike me as a bit of a Sargonian free speech absolutist, shall we say, then again, the easiest and quickest way to do so is to simply just buy Twitter. Now again, I believe he bought 9% or something recently, so that doesn't give him a controlling, yes, 9.2% of the shares. That doesn't mean that he's setting everything right now, because there are quite a lot of other shareholders who own pretty damn major margins, you know, 3, 4, 5, 2%, etc. Actually, no, 5. I think Jack Dorsey himself had, yeah, 2.25%, so not a whole lot. But nevertheless, 9% makes him by far the biggest single shareholder, which means that he has a tremendous amount of influence over the company, as he demonstrated a few years ago when he tweeted out that he thought that Tesla stocks were a bit too high. God, he's a crazy person. and he can absolutely begin to affect the value of Twitter, which might cause a lot of the other shareholders to go, right, okay, we're not going to fight you on this, Elon. We're just going to accept it, because honestly, this is getting to the point where our money banks are getting hit rather directly. And even, of course, Parag Agrawal, this person, the CEO of Twitter, welcomed Elon Musk in. He is both a passionate believer and intense critic of the service, which is exactly what we need on @Twitter. Now, I was going to just put up the standard meme, but luckily for me, somebody has made a custom version already. Oh, you know that hurt to type out. You really know that hurt, but at the same time, he is probably being paid rather handsomely as the CEO of a major tech organization, so when there's a new sheriff in time, you know, best pucker up to that butthole and make sure you can keep getting that $1 million salary. Although if I was Parag, I might start, updating my resume right about now, because he certainly has not been a friend of free speech by any stretch of the imagination, really. Interestingly enough, too, there was a lot of tweets going around from Twitter employees that were suddenly very worried about their corporate culture. Which tells you everything you need to know about them, really. Hold on, I'm a leftist, and I'm worried about the corporate culture of a mega corporation. Aha. We've gotten to some strange places, haven't we? But they are right to worry, because Twitter, and Jack Dorsey as well, came out a little while ago and said to himself that he really hated what has happened to the modern day internet, and he admits his own part in it, his own rather decisive part in it, but details. Anywho, they are right to worry, because with a person like Elon Musk is not politically, ideologically motivated along their lines. If he can be said to be motivated by anything politically speaking, it appears to be a far more actual, genuine, old-school liberal position, where free speech is an absolutist value and should be protected in the absolute up until the point where it begins to run into legislation. Which is going to be a thorny subject as well, mind you, because previously Twitter has been shielded from a lot of the negative press that Facebook has been exposed to, because at least that platform has attempted in tiny, minute portions to be halfway neutral, and it's gotten lambasted and dragged over the coals by the media for that. If Elon Musk here brings his own brand of political ideology to Twitter, I'm thinking Twitter's status as the golden child will rapidly diminish quite quickly. Nevertheless, I believe he's also going to buy himself a tremendous amount of goodwill as well from, well, people who might be seeing a resurgence relatively soon. I do remember there was a talk a while ago, I believe it was maybe on Fox News, where somebody mentioned that if mega corporations like, that one with the mouse, so as to avoid too much attention here, if they're gonna get politically active, well, they probably shouldn't be too surprised when the opposition gets back in power that they turn out to be a pinch vengeful, I believe is the term. Which honestly, yes, man, this is one of those weird positions, right? Because on the one hand, I would much prefer if corporations and people like Elon Musk and companies like Twitter, social media, didn't bring politics into anything. That has always been my ideal, but more and more I've been leaning towards the position that, well, if they're already political, overtly political, have been overtly political for half a decade now, and have been beating us over the head with this, can I really be all that annoyed if the tables turn and it turns out that now suddenly it's the Republicans that want to make somewhat petulant actions against mega corporations that have taken overt action against them? Should I then be sitting there going, oh no, you shouldn't bring this into politics, or should I go, hit them harder? I think I'm pretty sure which side I've arrived on, to be entirely honest with you. Now, whether or not Elon Musk will be the conquering hero, that is a question yet to be answered. If we look at his previous track record, yeah, it looks so. It's very much so possible that Elon Musk could become, hashtag our sides, George, Soros. The Russian criminal. Nice try, by the way, Putin. You almost had me there for a second, but, close with no cigar. But it's also not certain. Elon Musk has certainly been a rather based billionaire, to put it mildly, but when the heat really starts piling on, when he becomes the full-scale target of the news media, when his own government contract and his own influence and his own business gets put under the heavy barrage of, well, anti-Trumpism, and he becomes the new Trumpalophagus, how far is he willing to go? How far is he willing to stick up to his ideals? And how far is he willing to push this? Because, mind you, right now he's just bought himself a nice sizable stake that is probably going to earn him a lot of money in the future, and it's probably also going to be a thing that he could potentially hold hostage as well. He could, conceivably, after 2 or 3 years of really ramping up tensions, turn around and go, right, Microsoft or some other mega corporation, I know what kind of position you have on this. I've got you a little bit by the balls here, so how about you buy me out at a hefty premium? But at the same time, everything I've seen of Elon Musk suggests that he has his convictions, he does, and he has the courage of his conviction as well, even more importantly, and I just want to believe, okay? I just want to be blindly optimistic here for a second, and think that maybe there is actually a potential future where platforms like Twitter, like Facebook, maybe even like YouTube, are forced to actually become the neutral platforms that they were once, or at least once aspired to be, again, because of the danger of a crazy billionaire deciding to burn it all to the ground with one single tweet. So, for now, let's all remain optimistic. I believe this is a good thing. I hope this will turn into a great thing, in fact. And as for Elon, thank you very much, good sir. You have, if nothing else, given us a good laugh. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching. If you liked the video, as always, please do consider leaving a comment and a like down below, and I will see you next time. Have a good day.